Now, Tulsi has some unique chemistry. A little bit like sweet basil, it does have lots of different types of chemistry. In sweet basil, the dominant factor is for sure linalool. In this case, it's not dominant eugenol, which is a phenol, nor is it dominant in its sesquiterpenes. They each exist in a very close range with one another, and those three compounds make up as much as 80 to 90% of the chemistry. And so it's really significant, the impact that they have. So I want to talk with you a little bit about why I believe this oil is valuable to us. Now, different than sweet basil, this oil is meant to be used aromatically, and it's meant to be used topically, not internally. And it's okay, because I don't believe that we need to use this oil internally, especially when we look at the type of chemistry that we're going to go through here. Now, remember earlier, I said that in terms of our health, essential oils support the body in two significant ways, which you will learn more about in the future. One is controlling expression. How does it help us to control so we have appropriate expression? The right proteins are enacted and engaged. To give you a little more insight into that, remember several years ago we had this opportunity where we did research where we looked at the entire human genome. Just to put it in perspective for you for essential oils, more than 20,000 different genes. We looked at nearly 20 essential oils, and we looked at every single gene set that there was. And we looked for upregulation and downregulation specifically through the proteins that they would stimulate. And so it started to give us some indication of pathway, some indication and knowledge of how essential oils might be used more efficiently. And that's what you're going to see here. So when we look at eugenol, we have autonomic support, which is expression, and we have cell support, which is, of course, helping the cells to function more properly and fully. And so when we use eugenol, whether we're using it aromatically or topically, in this context of holy basil, we stimulate both the autonomic nervous system. Now, this is really about helping the body to react and respond appropriately to different stressful circumstances. When we look at beta-caryophyllene, now you're familiar with this. This is what we see with copaiba or copaiba, for those of you who are Brazilian friends. This is the main constituent that we have talked about in depth. And here we have the same response. We stimulate autonomic support, relaxation, helping the body to manage stress more appropriately, and cell support. And then lastly, we might not be so familiar with trans-beta-alanine, but it's also a sesquiterpene, and its primary benefit is cell protection, helping the cells to not only function properly, but to have a greater element of protection. Now, the reason why essential oils can have those kinds of outcomes, and this, although specific to holy basil, the reason why we see those kinds of outcomes is because of the chemistry that we see within the essential oil. And remember, we've talked about this multiple times. It's not singular. It's not just because of these three compounds that I've highlighted. It's the whole of everything that we find in holy basil, which is why our commitment to purity is so extensive. And what we've learned is that holy basil is adaptogenic. And in fact, many of the essential oils that we provide, this is only a few, is adaptogenic. So when we look at frankincense, we all know frankincense as being supportive of cell function. We use it for a variety of reasons, but that's largely how we talk about frankincense. When we look at lavender, we know that it's calming, it's soothing, it helps our body to react and manage stress more appropriately. And when we look at copaiba, its interaction with the endocannabinoid system, which we're very familiar with, and its direct pathways within that system make it extremely powerful. I love holy basil because it does all three of those. Now, I'm going to tell you, when we talk about something being adaptogenic, we mean that it supports normal physiological functioning within the body, which is what we've been talking about, controlling and managing expression and supporting proper cell function.